So guys, hello and welcome to this tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we saw this array function, that is we saw the parameters arguments used in it. Now what we are going to do is we are going to see this arange function. So I know it looks like arrange, but I like to call it arange. The reason being is it is basically array range. So I'll explain to you in the next part. So first of all, what does it do? It returns an n-dimensional array object. That array object contains evenly separated values within a defined interval. So obviously I know by reading it seems a bit complicated, but it is not a little complicated. What does this function do is we have to specify some range. That's why I'm calling it as a range. So suppose we specify the range from 1 to 10, then it will simply return an array of from 1 to 10, and that array will be an AP actually. So AP stands for arithmetic progression. So we have to provide some common difference as well. It is not compulsory to provide the common difference, but when we provide some common difference, we'll get an array actually, not array, AP you can say. So first of all, let us see the coding part. So obviously we'll have to import numpy, and you can import numpy by using import numpy as np, because suppose you want to get access to the function array, then you will have to write numpy.array. So instead of that, if you write this statement import numpy as np, you can simply write np.array. So it is more nice for us. We have to write less. np.array, you can use it directly. So first of all, this is a new concept for us, arange function. So or arrange function, whatever you want to call it, it's dependent upon you actually. So we need some help. So why not ask help from PyCharm itself? So we'll simply write help of np.arange. And remember, the spelling is arange. So it basically stands for array range. And when we run this code, we'll get some help from PyCharm. So we'll have to read it firstly. So first of all, arange contains four parameters or four arguments. That is the start, stop, step, and data type. So these three arguments, the first three arguments are basically the arguments of range function, the inbuilt range function that we use in for loop. So when we write for I in range, that range contains stop, then some stopping value, and then some step value or the stride value. Then some data type, and not data type is not there in the range function. This is there in arange that we use in NumPy. So data type means whatever function that whatever array that is returned by this arange function, the data type that we specify is returned as the data type. That is, hold on, what did I say? I didn't understand. So what do I mean is, if we write data type equals to floating point or float, then the array that this function returns will be array containing elements of floating point values. So fine. And obviously it returns evenly spaced values. So by evenly spaced value, it means an AP actually. So first of all, the range function, when we specify the range function, the starting part is excluded and the stopping part is excluded. Starting is included and stopping part is excluded, as it is there in the inbuilt range function. It is same actually. So first of all, let us see the parameters in detail. So we have to specify some starting value, and remember, the starting value is optional, step is optional, and data type is also optional. So the only compulsory argument over here is stop. So whatever we have to stop, whatever value we have to stop at, that thing is compulsory. Otherwise, all the arguments are not compulsory; they are optional. So obviously, stop means the end of the interval. Then step means the stride that we provide. So I'm not going to go in the details, because obviously you know what is stop, start, stop, step, and data type as well. So it returns an n-dimensional array of evenly separated spaced values. So fine. And least space and all I'm going to discuss in the next tutorial. So it is fine for now. So let us write some examples now. So when we imported array, let us do one thing. Let us print out np.arange. Now suppose we'll start from 1. We have to specify some range, right? So let us do one thing. Let us write some normal value. That is, well, let us start from 1 to 10. I'll decrease this size, hold on. Yeah, so it's basically started from 1 and it went up to 9, because I told it to you all 1 is included and 10 is excluded. So basically this is the thing, 1 and 10 is in round brackets, sorry, 1 is in square brackets and 10 is in round brackets. So this is the basic thing. So fine, so we got an array and this is fine now. So let us do one thing, let us specify the data type as well. So we'll simply write d type equals to, and in double inverted commas, let us write the data type suppose as complex value. So we'll get the array that this function will return will be array of complex value, that is 1 plus 0j, 2 plus 0j, up to 9 plus 0j. So now let us do one thing. As I told it to you all that all these arguments are not compulsory, the only one compulsory argument is stop. So suppose we write np.arange of 20, then it will go from 0, because the default value of starting is 0, and it will go up to 19 because 20 is excluded, as I told it to you all before. So it will go from 0 up to 20. Sorry, not 20, 19 actually. So we started at some value, we ended at some value. So let us do one thing. We'll start at some value, we'll end at 20, and we'll provide a say stride of 2, that is a step of 2. So this 2 is basically the common difference. So it will go from 1 up to 19, but the common difference is 2. That is, it will add 2. So 1 plus 2, 3, then 3 plus 2, 5. Or basically, this is the common difference. So 19 minus 17 is 2, 15 minus 13 is 2, 11 minus 9 is 2, and so on. So basically, this stands for evenly separated values. So they are evenly separated by a common difference. So the difference is common. So basically, this is nothing but an AP actually. So that's all about it. Now we provided all the arguments, I guess. We stopped at some value, start, we stopped, we provided the stride and all. Now let us do one thing, let us provide all the arguments at the same time so that we understand everything. So we'll start from 1, we'll go up to 30, we'll provide a step of 3, and let us write the d type equals to, or the d type equals to. Now let us write the data type to be float value. So when we run this code, it will go from 1 up to 28, because when we add 3 to 28, it will go outside 30, so it will not get included. So obviously we got floating point values as well. I think there's nothing much to explain in this part. So I think that's all for this tutorial. Until then, you can subscribe to my channel as it is free, and stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you for watching.